winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings. This is our time to shine. Set it off like dynamite.
Friday Night Stars, presented by WHATABURGER, is brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. And by WHATABURGER. Head over to your hometown WHATABURGER and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
It is week number 10 of this Texas high school football regular season, and this is Friday Night Stars, presented by WHATABURGER. Bill Jones along with Kyle Yeomans inside the Globe Life studio here at the Star in Frisco. Yes, just 2 weeks left in the regular season, and down the stretch we come as we jockey for playoff position with the postseason just weeks away.
Yeah, a lot of players in the area, of course, trying to get those last looks at different colleges, try and become one of those college prospects, but a lot of teams with abilities to lock up their division tonight. So a lot on the line, both individually and as a team across the board and across the state.
That's right. And of course, the high school weekend starts tonight every week on a Thursday night. And you take a look at the WHATABURGER game of the week this week. And if not for an interstate battle between DeSoto and St. Francis Academy of Baltimore in week 2, this would be a battle of unbeatens. It's DeSoto 7-1 on the season, unbeaten in the District of Doom 11-6A against Duncanville.
Man, then that District of Doom is going to be won by this game tonight. The winner takes 11-6A. It's a rematch of district foes, of course, from the last couple of years, but also a playoff rematch from a year ago that was won by Duncanville. But I'll start with DeSoto, 7-1. They're 5-0 in district play. They've got the best 2 players on the field. You got look at the wide receiver, 5-star Jonte Cook, 730 yards receiving, 13 receiving touchdowns. There he is in the number 1 jersey. And then you've got a running back who's a 4-star, Trey Wisner, 469 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. He's been a little banged up. He's questionable going into this ball game, and both of those guys committed to Texas. So anytime you can find the weapons like the running back and Wisner, and then also Cook on the outside, you've got a chance to win. But Duncanville has won 40 straight district games. They continue to run the table, and they do so because of defense, allowing just 10 points per game on that side of the football, and they help that side with a great ground game. The 4-star running back, Caden Durham, he's got 470 yards and 9 touchdowns over his last 4 games. Their last district loss at the start of that 40-game win streak, guess who it was against?
Who might that have been against?
It might have been against DeSoto and the Eagles back in 2016. So Duncanville knows how to win, but so does the DeSoto squad. They've got enough firepower to knock off the Panthers.
And, of course, Colin Simmons, the junior 5-star edge rusher, the consensus number 2 edge rusher in the nation in that 2024 recruiting class. So what a matchup. It is Duncanville. It is DeSoto. All right, let's move down to Class 5A for our next game in District 5. 5A Division 1, the Richland Royals 7-1 on the season against unbeaten Mansfield Timberview.
And I know there's no gambling on high school sports, but if there were, take the over, because both of these teams know how to score. Mansfield Timberview, you talk about a resurgence of a program that traditionally has been really, really good. They're 8-0, that got the 6 wins in district, but they would lock up District 5 5A with a win. They have the best points per game mark in 5A right now, just under 61 points per game. That's not just in a game, that's per game, Bill Jones. They know how to score, and they're outscoring opponents by 350 on the season, including 80-0 last week, 60-0 the week prior. They've put up really big points. You look at Richland as well. That's a team that continues their magical season, 7-1. They average the number 1 passing offense in the area with 340 yards per game through the air. So both of those teams can light up the scoreboard, and I expect to see that this weekend.
And Bryce Morton, the Richland quarterback with 34 touchdown passes on the year, they're coming off a loss to their rivals, Birdville, 34-30 a week ago. All right, staying staying in Class 5A, District 4 5A Division II. The Grapevine Mustangs, 7-1 on the season, only lost to Argyle, hosting Arlington Heights.
Yeah, Grapevine's supposed to be there at the top in District 4 5A Division II. And, of course, the winner of this game will also wrap up that district. They've won 19 straight inside their district brackets, and they do so behind a top rushing attack with Parker Polk. The Mustangs certainly know how to run the football, second in the area with 330 yards per game on the ground, but they still put up points even without throwing the football. On the other side with Arlington Heights, this is a team that's been a huge surprise. Coach Phil Young, who won the Friday Night Stars Coach of the Week award just a couple weeks ago with their win over Colleyville Heritage, they were just 7-21 over the last 3 years. Well, they've already hit that 7-win mark. They've got 8 wins, and as you take a look at the standings, they do such a good job of doing the little things along the way, playing good defense, good special teams, all 3 angles of that Arlington Heights ball club. They do a great job, and that's why they're undefeated at the moment.
You know, you just look at one common opponent, Colleyville Heritage, of course, which is Grapevine's rival in the Grapevine-Colleyville ISD school district. Grapevine beat Colleyville 44-26, while Arlington Heights beat Colleyville 41-31. Very close matchup there. It should be a good one when Grapevine hosts Arlington Heights. Okay, how about back in Class 6A, the Allen Eagles smarting after a lopsided loss to Denton Geyer last week as they play host to Prosper.
Yeah, it's the Battle of the Birds, and you mentioned Allen. I mean, that's a game that they want to put behind them. But I'll start off with the Prosper Eagles and what they've done. I mean, wins after they win via their defense. Let's just put it that way. They're allowing just 12 points per game. They held Geyer to only 3 in that first half, a 3-0 game that Geyer ultimately ran away with, but that was their only loss of the season as well. So both of these teams have that sour taste in their mouth against the Geyer Wildcats. But when you look at their paper-on-paper comparison, both of these teams play exceptionally well on the offensive end. Harrison Roser for Prosper, 26 touchdown passes, but they're going to need that ground game to wear down the Allen defense. Looking to rebound. They lost 49-7 last week to Geyer. 4-star quarterback Michael Hawkins, of course, just a junior. He's still going to try and turn things around after he was held underneath 200 yards passing for much of that football game last week. He's got a tight end that's a 5-star in Mitchell who doesn't want to repeat that as well. He's got touchdowns in 3 of his last 5 games, so they've used him as a red zone threat and somebody to throw the football to. I will tell you one thing, though. This is a rivalry game. Even though these two teams don't play a ton, of course, in the regular season once every couple of years, and now that they're back in district together, it's certainly a lot of fun. Eagles Stadium is going to be rocking come this weekend.
And even though Denton Geyer is going to win that district, District 5-6A, this is basically a Division I playoff seeding game between Allen and Prosper to see which of those two teams will have the number 1 seed in Division I of the Class 6A playoffs coming out of that district. We're just getting started here on Friday Night Stars. When we come back, it's our Showdowns at the Star for this week.
This segment was brought to you by WHATABURGER. Head over to your hometown WHATABURGER and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it. This segment is brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
Welcome back to Friday Night Stars. Time for the Showdowns at the Star. And of course, it all starts tonight on Thursday night when Frisco Reedy takes on Frisco Heritage. More on that in just a second. And then Kyle Yeomans will also be calling the game on Friday night at the Star in Frisco. That will feature Ranch View against Panther Creek. Yes, it's a double dose every week at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones with Kyle Yeomans, and let's talk about tonight's game. Looks like a pretty good one on paper as Heritage takes on Reedy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Heritage with a win would then cause a 3-way tie with them, Reedy, and then Frisco High at the top of that district, with all 3 of those teams beating each other at different points throughout the season. But the Coyotes dealing without their head coach, Coach Kenneth Gilchrist, suspended for 1 game because of a fight against Frisco High 2 weeks ago. They served their bye week last week, so this is their first opportunity to serve those suspensions, and then they'll have a number of players, including a couple key players, out for the first half. However, They will have their quarterback back in Devin Calvin, who has been their leading passer throughout the season. So Heritage getting somebody back, and that's good to go for the first half. Then in the second half, they'll be back at full strength to try and take down the Reedy Lions. But it really has been a special season for Reedy. Undefeated at this point underneath head coach Chad Cole. And this is a chance for them to win a district that no one expected them to win. But they've done so behind an experienced and tight-knit group of experienced players ready to take on any challenge that comes their way.
We've got a great group of kids, and just proud of, you know, the maturity and growth that we've established. When you talk about a senior-led group, we have a great group of seniors that have been in our feeder pattern in the middle school for 2 years, and now coming upon their 4th year as Reedy Lions. You base everything around them, and your decisions are based on the needs of the seniors, because this is their class, this is their opportunity, this is their last shot at high school football. So everything, the underclassmen understand that principle, and you know, we just let them lead our football team. And we've got a great group that is doing a fantastic job of leading right now.
You got to give Coach Cole credit, because at the start of the season, when I had the initial interviews with the Frisco ISD head coaches, he told me, watch out for this team. And yeah, coaches hear that and say that all the time, but this one felt a little bit different because he liked the seniors, he liked the group together. He said it's one of the best groups he's ever faced, and he's reiterated that each week that I've had them on the call and I've gotten the chance to talk to Coach Cole. He loves this group of players, and they love each other, and you could see that translate out onto the field. Their bye week is next week, so they could wrap up a perfect regular season today with an opportunity to win the district over that Heritage Coyotes team that's right on their heels, and a great chance to warm up heading into the playoff push.
I love the way he gives the ownership of the team to the seniors on that team. And when you look at the District 6-5A Division I standings, you know, there's only 4 teams that make the playoffs, and there are 5 teams there with records of 4-2 or better.
And Lone Star has dominated this district for so long. They play Frisco tonight, which of course is ahead of them in district play. They haven't had a full-strength quarterback room in quite some time. And then Frisco Wakeland, who's tied with them at the bottom right there in that 4th spot, that final playoff spot. Wakeland controls their destiny. If they win out, they have the tiebreaker over Lone Star. So keep that in mind. If Lone Star loses tonight, or if Wakeland wins out their final 2 games of the season, Lone Star won't make the playoffs for the first time in quite some time under Coach Rayburn.
All right, coming up here on Friday Night Star, some other notable games around the area, including one in Southlake, a battle of unbeatens, plus what a matchup we had last week between Aledo and Denton Ryan that might be a playoff preview, too.
This segment was brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. This segment is brought to you by WHATABURGER. Head over to your hometown WHATABURGER and try the patty melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
Great game last week between 2 of the best 5A teams in the state. Aledo battling Denton Ryan. Aledo jumped out to a 21-7 lead at the half. Aledo watched Denton Ryan rally to tie the game at 21 in the second half. That's when Aledo reclaimed the momentum, never looking back. Bearcats quarterback Haas Haney threw a 24-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Pope to reclaim the lead. Then Haney reeled off an 86-yard game-clinching touchdown run to give Aledo a 35-21 win. We could see a rematch of these 2 teams in the playoffs in a few weeks.
You know, it's like I told the kids 9 weeks ago, a lot of people giving up on us. I just can't say enough about our kids and our coaches, how hard they've worked to get to this point and really turn it into a really good football team.
We showed a lot of heart. Our team showed a lot of heart and just brotherhood and trust in each other. So it was just great to see that.
We knew how good Denton Ryan was, and you know they had all their bullets in their guns tonight, and they were hard to stop. And a really good football team. And Coach Hennigan does a super job. And yeah, I'm afraid if both of us take care of business, we may see each other again in a few weeks.
Ryan had their injured players back, but Coach Buck at Aledo, he just keeps doing it year after year.
It's really impressive, and he talked about it there, that after the first 2 weeks of the season, they had suffered losses to Parrish and to Geyer. Of course, Parrish is looking for a 4th straight state title at the TAPS level. Geyer is looking like one of the best teams in the state. Aledo starting 0-2 was unfamiliar territory for the Bearcats, but he's right. They righted the ship, they got back to focus, and now they've won 110 straight district games, including the 7-0 mark this year. So I really like the fact that they knew how good Denton Ryan was. Everybody looked at them the same way, maybe a little bit down this year. They didn't take them lightly, got into a battle, and then were able to pull away late. That's a credit to a good football squad.
And that's probably the toughest district that Aledo has ever played in, with Denton Ryan in that district, and Burleson Centennial, which is the second-place team right now. Other notable games around the area include a battle of unbeatens in Southlake. Byron Nelson out of Trophy Club, 8-0, 5-0 in district play against Southlake Carroll, and Geyer's playing at McKinney. Frisco Lone Star against Frisco. Those are some pretty good notable games there.
Yeah, I just mentioned how Lone Star, they need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Geyer, I also just mentioned how they look like the best team in the state, but I'm really looking at that Friday matchup. Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll, 2 teams that just continuously play well week in and week out, and one of them has to fall. I'm glad this came late in the season because this is a monumental matchup in that district.
This is the biggest game in Byron Nelson football history, and they've got a real shot at winning this district championship over Southlake Carroll. And the primary reason Southlake Carroll lost its starting quarterback, Caden Anderson, a couple of weeks ago. So Carroll has an inexperienced quarterback, Graham Knowles, and Byron Nelson has been rolling up points on everybody this season. I can't wait to watch this game.
55 points per game for Byron Nelson. Quarterback Jake Wilson, 2,700 passing yards, 29 touchdowns. Watch out, though, because that's the matchup. It's the Byron Nelson offense. Can they keep that production alive against a really stout and deep Southlake defense? That's the biggest thing. Southlake's going to find some holes in the Byron Nelson defense. Can Byron Nelson keep it up against Southlake? Because Southlake last year, they won this game 69-0. So what about a one-year turnaround to take a 69-0 blowout and instead turn it into a district title if you can get a win if you're the Wildcats?
Yep, they're going to be leaning on Owen Allen, the Carroll Dragons will, in this game. All right, when we come up, it's the Power Programs of the Week, and a little shout out to some marching bands as well when we come back.
I had fun every week. Every sack that I had was fun to watch or fun to, like, you know what I mean? It's a great experience. So, but I feel winning homecoming, I think it was my junior or senior year, I was like, we only won homecoming once. So that was great. And then we went to the dance afterwards and had a great time. So probably winning homecoming.
Oh, the high school memories of Osa Odigizua. When he mentioned winning homecoming, I thought he at first was saying he was the homecoming king, that he won that, but he meant the game, I think.
He might have won homecoming king, though. I mean, he's just being humble. He didn't want to necessarily put it out there.
All right, Power Program time, and you've gone a different direction with your Power Programs this week, Carl.
Yeah, last week you came in here and you said good football programs and good basketball programs, which is great. I love some hoops. But how about let's give the Friday night experience some love. These are top 10 marching bands in their most recent state marching competitions and teams with a record above 500 at the moment. So all of these teams, Coppell, Highland Park, my goodness, Highland Park, that Friday night experience at Highlander Stadium is just absolutely fantastic. Frisco ISD zone, Wakeland Wolverines, they've been winning some games as of late, won 5 of their last 6 ball games. Oh, and they had a top 5 band as well. So lots of band competition and lots of high talent there as well.
Okay, I'm going down that same road. Top football teams and top spirit squads. Byron Nelson 8-0 in football this year. They were the 6A Division II Spirit State champs. Southlake Carroll 8-0. They were the state runner-ups in Division I. Grapevine 7-1. They were the 5A Division II Spirit State champs in January. Salina at 7-1. 4A Division II state champs, and Argyle at 8-0, the 4A Division I Spirit State runner-up last January.
The real question is there any of those schools that overlapped? I didn't see any, but if there's anybody that's close, that's the true high school football experience that you need to go check out every Friday
We'll
night.
do some research, and we'll have that maybe next week on our Power Program. So when we come back, it's the Landry Award watch list for this one.
Friday Night Stars, presented by WHATABURGER. was brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. And by WHATABURGER. Head over to your hometown WHATABURGER and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
All right, it's a Landry Award watch list time. Oh, we're inching ever so close now to the voting for the Landry Award given to the top high school football player in North Texas. Not only their on-field accomplishments, but what they do off the field as well. And some love for the defensive side of the football this week. How about these 5 names, Kyle Yeomans?
5 great names. Out of those 5, in a possible 25 stars on their recruiting profiles, there's 23 of 25. How about that? That's how good they have been on the field, and they've been much better off the field in certain specific cases as well. We've seen some great wide receivers. We've seen some great quarterbacks and running backs so far that have been on this list. If I had to tab a unit or a position to where the Landry Award is most likely to land this year, I think these defenders are right there at the top of the list. There's a really good chance that one of those 5 guys will walk away with that award whenever everything is said and done, because you've got 5-star Anthony Hill Jr., 5-star Bowen, 5-star Simmons, so many good players on that side of the football, and it's been so much fun to watch this season.
Anthony Hill Jr., who is committed to Texas A&M. Peyton Bowen out of Geyer, who's committed to Notre Dame. Colin Simmons, a junior on the list. We have had juniors that have won the award in the past, and probably the most notable defensive player ever to win the Landry Award was one Myles Garrett out of Arlington Martin.
He was pretty good, right?
Years ago, and I think he became pretty good in the NFL too.
I think so, yeah. He was the #1 overall pick. Yeah, kind of worked his way up. Yeah, he was pretty solid.
Highest paid defensive player of all time at one point in his NFL career.
That's what the Landry Award can do. It can propel you to new heights. It wasn't his work ethic or his talent level or his physique. No, it was the Landry Award that
we were the NIL before the NIL was ever invented. We're preparing you for your future investments. All right, for Kyle Yeomans, I'm Bill Jones, and we'll chat at you again next week on Friday Night Stars.